So one of the best ways to get more views on your videos is by doing smart YouTube keyword research. By doing this, you can come up with powerful video ideas and get your videos to ultimately rank in search so you can get views 24/7, 365. So in this video, I'm joined by Rob from vidIQ, and we're going to be going through 3 quick tips to help you get started with keyword research with some free tools, as well as diving into some of the advanced tools and ways to get even more keyword research insights using vidIQ. So buckle your seatbelt because this is the Coffee with Cannell show and it's coming up right now. You got to just press record. Welcome to the Coffee with Cannell show. My name is Sean Cannell and I'm super fired up for today's episode with Rob Wilson from vidIQ, who is a YouTube creator himself, who is a keyword research expert and is really has a lot of powerful insights in helping us understand how to use these strategies to grow our YouTube channels. But here's the big question for you. Is keyword research still relevant? Because some people are kind of feels like they're throwing out the baby with the bathwater when it comes to search-based content, SEO, keyword research. What's your hot take on that?
Short answer would be yes, keyword research is still very important, but more and more caveats are being added to that question as time goes by. I think ultimately for any creator, understanding what I call your keyword universe or the common tongue of your video topic is crucial for generating video ideas, and then also understanding how to title your content in a very basic fashion, what's on the thumbnail, what's in the description, video tags, yes, but also more and more importantly, what you're actually saying in your videos and, what's appearing on screen. And there's some really exciting things that YouTube have been really teasing as people search and interact with YouTube when they're trying to, find answers to questions.
And if someone's new to the term keyword research, what are we talking about? Like, what is a keyword and what is the goal of keyword research?
So if I was to give you a basic example of this, it might be something along the lines of Apple, the tech company, being a very basic keyword, but what sits underneath that keyword? And you've got iPad, you've got iMac, you've got iPhone. What sits underneath that? You've got maybe the iPhone Pro 12 camera or the iPad iOS 15 updates. These keyword phrases can get longer and longer and longer and more specific. And I think as creators starting out on their YouTube journeys, they often find their niche or their little corner of their YouTube universe by really becoming the expert or the authority on something really specific within a keyword research area.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where we get the term long tail keywords, because to rank on YouTube for Apple, besides the fact that could be an apple we eat or Apple the company, it's a little vague. It's not super specific. It's going to be highly competitive. But if we were to make a video called best telephoto lens for the iPhone 12 Pro Max, it's a pretty specific thing. It's actually something
$50.
Under $50. Yeah. And I just, because there are some cheap ones on Amazon. I just was checking out this brand called Sandmark on a recent trip for my iPhone 12 Max, and I was doing that exact search. So let's dive into a couple quick tips. If we just want to keep it super simple, get started right now, what are some tips for getting started with keyword research?
Yeah, so before we look at any vidIQ tools, I think the most powerful tool to get you started with understanding what people are searching for on YouTube is the YouTube search bar. And what it's going to do as soon as you start to type in any letters, it's going to try and predict what you're searching for as a viewer. And obviously, as you're a viewer and you're adding more and more data to YouTube in terms of what you watch and your preferences, then those search terms are going to become more and more aligned to what you're interested in and as a viewer. And as you're doing this research, you want to try and get into the mind of a viewer themselves and what they're searching for. So I guess, Sean, we could probably just use that example that we were talking about, which is Apple. Maybe we'll go down to iPhone as a starting point. And Even when I just type in iPhone, we're getting all of the model numbers. And at the very top here is iPhone 13. Now, iPhone 13, as far as I'm aware, isn't even out yet. So I'm guessing already, as somebody who may be interested in this tech, are we thinking about the release date? Are we thinking about rumors? Are we thinking about the price? If I just type that in, we're already seeing, launch date, release date, unboxing, the colors, rumors. Let's go for rumors, and we'll see what's added to the keywords there. Like, there's a rumor that there might be a fingerprint on the fingerprint scanner, maybe. Also, Touch ID. Is it going to run at finally 120 hertz? So just by typing in 3, I guess, essential keywords to create a keyword phrase, we have 15 potential ideas of what we might want to create content on as a YouTube creator. That's super powerful. And my understanding is that those predictions are in order of most popular, which doesn't surprise me. That iPhone 13 is probably one of the hottest things right now. People are looking for the leaks and the rumors. So it's when you type in iPhone, if you go all the way back, you're sort of seeing in sequence that iPhone 13 is most popular. Then people want to see content related to Pro Max. 11 is still interesting. And of course, we're going to dive in deeper towards in this video later to actually see some search volume and get more granular data. But at least from a quick hot take level of what maybe should I talk about next, I can just start with the YouTube search bar. Yeah, and if you want to take that a little bit further, I like to play a very simple game with this search bar, which is the alphabet walkthrough. We'll use, again, iPhone 13 as the keyword, but all I'm going to do at this point is simply go through the alphabet, a single character. So we type in A, and look at all of these suggestions here. Apple trailer, Apple event. We've also got the always on display. That might be interesting as something to look at as a small channel focusing on a very particular aspect of the tool. But let's try B. And you have all of these suggestions. Battery, bronze. Does that mean there's going to be a bronze colored version of the iPhone 13? That's interesting. Battery test, all of these suggestions as well. And I could go from A to Z and you have dozens of suggestions coming up. So again, really good idea generator and creating very simple keywords that you can start to write down as a, building up your keyword universe, that common tongue that I was talking about in the topic of the iPhone 13. Super powerful. So far we've covered that. Definitely use the YouTube search bar, and let me know in the comments, do you use the YouTube search bar and use that auto predict feature? Has that been helpful? Have any of those ideas helped you create a video idea that's done well? Secondly, do the alphabet walkthrough. What a cool tip. Take your topic and go through A, B, C, and you're looking for, remembering, this is YouTube giving you insight and data into what real people are searching. You don't want to just make videos necessarily in a fishbowl where you're just with your own ideas. Your question is, what do people want to see? What are people interested in? The creator that understands the viewer best wins. And this helps us do topic research, keyword research to do that. But Rob, is there any other tips in regards to maybe even getting more insights using the YouTube search bar? Yeah, you can turn that alphabet walkthrough into simple questions. And again, YouTube search is now sophisticated enough to comprehend what you're typing out, even if it doesn't make complete sense. So if I say iPhone 13 when, now we're getting to this, the nuts and bolts of really answering these iPhone 13 questions. When's it coming out? When's the release date? When's it going to launch in a particular country? We could simply change that to how, and then we've got more useful tips, tricks, and tutorial videos that you could be making or thinking about, in a run up to the launch. How many cameras is it going to have? How much is it going to cost? How do I charge it? Because we're still not sure whether the iPhone 13 is going to have a charging cable. How can we now go even deeper with keyword research using vidIQ? I'm going to start off with a phrase that now probably everybody is familiar with. Nobody knew what YouTube Shorts were a year ago, and now today there are, according to YouTube, 15 billion daily YouTube Shorts views, which I still can't quite comprehend, but it's a massively growing aspect. If we were doing a search here, how could we really drill down into the particular topics that people are interested in? In the bottom right-hand corner, we see here the keyword score from vidIQ. This is a barometer. This is just giving you a general idea of how many people are searching for a particular keyword and also the perceived competition from other creators. And you'll get this score quite often in terms of a lot of search volume, but also a lot of competition, because there's many creators creating content and different search topics get saturated very, very quickly. So how do we maybe drill down into this a little bit more? One of the tools that we have here on vidIQ is called Enable Inline Keywords. And what this is basically going to do is open up the hood of the car and reveal the keywords that creators have used to optimize their content. And I'll use one of our videos as an example. We've tried to really get to the bottom of what people will be searching for in terms of YouTube Shorts. It might be how to make them. Might be when are they coming out? How do you make thumbnails, and so on and so forth. And we can click on any of these keywords to launch what's called the Keyword Inspector. And as we were talking about earlier with the keyword score, it's going to show you all of the related keywords for this topic that I've chosen, which is YouTube Shorts. And we can see again that most of the scores here are pretty competitive, but as I scroll down, I think I found one here potentially, Sean. This looks like a keyword of interest here with a score of 72 out of 100, which essentially means that there's probably a bit of keyword search volume there, and there's not as much competition as confirmed here. And I think we know this because people have been looking forward to YouTube Shorts being monetized for about 6 months now, and finally, very recently, YouTube Shorts have now become monetizable, and people are getting their first paychecks after all of that hard work that they've been putting in the last 2 or 3 months.
Inline keywords and then drilled down, clicking on a keyword, took us inside of vidIQ, and it also, our intuition, at least my intuition, yours as well, lines up with that insight of we teach ASQ, answer specific questions, and specific is a really key word. It's not just answer questions. People want to know generally about YouTube Shorts, but now you discovered YouTube Shorts monetization. So making a video specifically around that topic, and that is, of course, there's the Shorts Fund now, but even where does monetization come from Shorts? Because it may not be monetized in the Shorts feed, but if it's watched on desktop. And so then now we have the insight, and I'm just hoping to summarize this for everyone in the Think Media community. This process that Rob just took us through, now we have the insight of what smart video to make next by just kind of following the breadcrumbs of this tool.